There's a lot going on, and the title was called The Trump Dump.
Yep.
And don't get me wrong, make America great again. How could that ever be a bad word? Lady told me something the other day. She voted, she's one of Stacy's liberal friends, and I don't have
I have a
many of
liberal
those.
friend.
I don't have many of those, you know? And that's fine. It's not that I don't want to have liberal friends. I just would like to know why they voted for who they voted for, and are they let down? Were they bamboozled? You know? And she kind of said, yeah, but she's still not voting for Trump. A vote for Trump, for the other party was simply just a vote against Trump. That's the kind of the main takeaway that I get. But I was impressed that we could agree to disagree, which is very unusual in this day and age.
So I actually enjoy my lunches with her. We go to lunch ever so often, and I tease her and I call her my liberal friend because she's more on the left, but she's one of the few people that we actually can sit there and we can talk, and I like hearing her side. I like hearing her point of view, why she believes in what she believes, and what her views are on certain things, and it's very interesting, and we have a great time, and it's one of the few people I would say that's a liberal, considered truly liberal, that that we have a good time with. Anyway, good morning to all you guys. I'm trying to do the comments. We we all know Chris's most liberal friend is Andy Scheckman. Yeah, he is not liberal at all.
Yeah, right.
But good morning. It's good to see you guys, and we're going to get into some interesting things today. Before we go there, somebody said we need to bring the scripture stuff back. So you mind?
Yeah, yes, absolutely.
So everybody said we needed to bring. They liked the fact that we did a scripture on Saturday morning. All right. So this is in Romans. It's Romans 1:21 and 22. But basically, I'm just going to kind of paraphrase a little bit. But it said, even though they knew God, they did not honor him or give thanks. They became futile in their speculations, and their foolish heart was darkened. Here's what the 22 verse is what I want to talk about. They were professing to be wise, and they became fools. And I think that's my takeaway from 2024 and going into 2025, that I think Chris and I were asking God for wisdom, what to do, all the things that's discernment.
How to discern this news that we get every day, you know?
Yep.
And how do we take knowledge and turn it into wisdom? That's something only God can help you with, really. You know, and you get on Twitter and you get on social media and you get this news and it's like, what is this? Is this true? RFK is going to do something about the chemtrails. I thought, wait a minute, chemtrails are real? I've had this conversation with many pilots, and they didn't think so. There's a lot of, just a lot of different news that we have to really rely on God to discern and try to understand. Chemtrails just being something that I thought of right off the bat. You know, what's real? What's actually real?
That's the truth. And that's hard. When you're hit with so much news from every angle, from social media, which we'll talk about the Tik Tok thing that's going on also, but you're hit with so much so news, what is actually real and what's not, and what's also fear-mongering, and what is something that we need to pay attention to. Chris always says, he has a comment that he came up, a quote. You have some really good quotes, by the way. He said, when there's tension, pay attention. And so
that was actually a Bible study I did.
It was, he did.
Yeah, where there's tension,
pay attention.
And don't add to the saddest chapter of your life. That was part of it too. It's like you can always make things worse. When you don't think they can get worse.
Say that again.
You sure can.
Don't
add to the saddest chapter of your life.
So otherwise make changes.
Yeah, and it was actually Andy Stanley. And he talked about, or brought up some thoughts that we could think about. That's what I like. I don't like to hear preachers tell you exactly what it is because he's the all-being know-it-all. But when you pay attention to the tension, something that's drawing you, pulling at you, and let's say you're going through something bad, there's a tension, you're going through something, don't make the decision that's going to add to that. When you reflect back on your life, you want to be, hey, you want to remember that and be like, hey, I did this. I did the right thing. I did what I thought God wanted me to do, and that's what you get. That's how you, be your own hero type thing.
I like that. I've not heard you say that one before. We forgot to, you don't have your coffee.
I forgot it. It was a mad scramble to get over here.
Well, cheers, as we always do, to the best
Cheers.
day ever.
I drank 1 cup, so I'm kind of good
I'm drinking
on coffee.
tea lately. I've been kind of off my coffee thing. Oh, and I meant to bring the bag. You guys, check out Hoosier's coffee. We forget to mention them sometimes, and I forgot the bag.
Right.
I was going to bring it and show it in the screen.
Hoosier Warrior Coffee. There's
Yes.
a link in the description. Community members that started their own coffee company.
He's a veteran.
And they're doing what the other Black Rifle Coffee started out doing. But they're actually nailing it, and their coffee is really, really good.
If I drink coffee, that's the only coffee I drink nowadays. But I've been kind of a hot tea kick lately. But you guys check out Hoosier Coffee. I
reduced it to 1 cup, though. I was binge drinking coffee for half my life, and it's just better. Just have 1 good cup of coffee and call it quits. I like the way it tastes, you know, and then I overdo it, and I get all shaky, and that's not good.
But if you guys know of any good hot teas, put it in the comments, because I'm on a hunt for teas lately. Anyway, all right. Well, let's get into it.
Let's do. And this is about Trump, and there's one thing about this whole Trump is the man on the white horse, and he's a go-getter. You cannot take that away from him. What does he gain from doing what he's doing? I think he's wanting to make his mark on humanity. This is his last hurrah. How old is he? 78, something.
I think 78. I think it's what he is.
And he's having to really, really try to drain the swamp. That's so hard. Can you imagine the central bankers and the people that are in charge, that are retiring all of a sudden?
There's a lot of people retiring. Now, some of them are retiring because once Trump comes in, they're done. But some of them are just walking away.
Janet Yellen's right-hand man is hanging up his boots.
Yep.
The Federal Reserve Vice Chair, Stanley Fischer.
Announced, yep.
There's several on there. I'm not going to try to read you all the names. Just know that I think they have already baked the cake. Like it's ready to come out of the oven, and everything's already in there. All the ingredients are in there that they set up, and I don't know if there's anybody alive that can change that. It's already baked in. Inflation's baked in. This stuff is on the way, and just because Trump's going to make America great again, MAGA, doesn't mean that we're not going to have to deal with these things. Sometimes change is hard. We did a video on the tariffs.
Oh, yes.
And that's going to kind of hurt in the beginning,
Yeah, I think
Try
so.
to get stuff built here. I'm all for it. Well, there's some growing pains coming.
I completely agree.
Every time I know something's going to happen, Mark Twain said this, it's not what you don't know, it's what you do know that just ain't so. That's what'll get you in trouble. So, Trump's coming in, it's going to be great. We've got it now, it's ready to go, stock market up, never down, no recession, everybody's back to work, blah, blah. Watch out, the cake's about to come out of the oven. And it, maybe it does or maybe it doesn't have anything to do with Trump. But I want to share something real quick that I have a little hang up with Trump, okay?
By the way, before we go any further, while you're getting that video, Devil Dog just said that he's glad to catch a live. He just had brain surgery. Oh my goodness, I wondered, I hadn't seen you lately we haven't been on videos a lot lately, but I haven't seen you or talked to you.
Have you met with...
So I'm so glad that your brain surgery went well and you're doing good, and we'll be saying prayers for you.
Brain surgery, wow.
Yeah, that's what he said. So, all right.
That's awesome. Okay.
Yeah, this is a very interesting
I'm just going to let
video.
you watch it for yourself, and then I'm going to show you another video that Billy G had to do, what him and Melinda had come up with about population.
We're doing it off of this, so YouTube can't censor
Yeah, I
us.
had a chance to go have a long and actually quite intriguing dinner with them.
What did you discuss? What was intriguing?
Well, we touched on a lot of things. It was over 3 hours. To my surprise, just he and I, his chief of staff, Susie Wiles, and the person who helps manage things for me, Larry Cohen. So the four of us sat there, and it was quite wide-ranging. You know, global health's the area that I work in, and such amazing things have happened and can happen there. I spoke a lot about HIV and that the foundation's literally working on a cure for that. We're at an early stage, and so he, in the COVID days, accelerated the vaccine innovation. So I, was asking him if maybe the same kind of thing could be done here, and we both got, I think, pretty excited about that. We talked about polio, where we're very close to getting that done, but if you stop, it'll spread back. And so I explained why it's been tough in Pakistan, Afghanistan. We've had cases show up in Gaza. We have cases in Africa. And he was fascinated to hear what he could do to maximize the chance that during the next 4 years, that incredible milestone will be achieved. I felt like he was, energized and, looking forward to helping to drive innovation. I was frankly impressed with how well he showed a lot of interest in the issues I brought up.
So that was, I can't say too much. I already got kicked off here one time for talking about it before it was a thing, before it was ever out. I noticed it, made a video, down in 8 minutes, 7 minutes. Ridiculous. But here's the thing with this guy that I'd like to share with you, and this is something that haunts me over and over when they talk about.
In this year's annual letter, Melinda and I take the toughest questions we get asked and give our answers. One that's come up for a long time is, as we make the world healthier, is the population going to get so big that feeding everybody and maintaining the environment is going to be impossible? Here we can see a chart that looks at the total world population over the last several hundred years. And at first glance, this is a bit scary. We go from less than 1 billion in 1800, and then 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7.4 billion where we are today is happening even faster. So Melinda and I wondered whether providing new medicines and keeping children alive, would that create more of a population problem? What we found out is that as health improves, families choose to have less children. And this effect is very, very dramatic. We find that in every country of the world, this is repeated. The population growth goes down as we improve health. So we've taken that chart that shows the global population growth, and we've actually extended it out all the way to 2100. And we can see that instead of continuing, it actually flattens out. Another way to see that is through this rate of population growth. And you can see that in the 60s, that reached a pretty high number, over 2% per year, and it's now come way, way down. Now, 11 billion people, still a lot, but the good news is that the faster we improve health, the faster family size goes down. And so we can feel great about saving those lives.
Healthy people don't procreate as much. Does that make any sense to anybody?
No.
Does that when you're sick, do you feel like doing anything like that? It doesn't make, I'm very simple. I see things pretty black and white. It doesn't make sense. Did Trump fall for something?
I don't know. A lot of people are starting to really kiss up to him. I want to read.
Just, I want to put that out there. I don't know why. That's kind of a letdown, Thought for sure this time we would know better. You know, my great uncle's pretty slick too. He's just, you know, those old guys, they have a certain kind of wisdom that you get from being old. And as harsh and as simple as it sounds, when they were pushing the thing that everybody's putting on their face, really pushing it, man. He said, if a fart can get through your britches, that's going straight, the virus is going straight through that mask. I thought, wow, that doesn't sound too far off. So, just a thought.
Yeah. Well, it's so, staying on that kind of, keep going with you're going, but I kind of want to read right here too.
Go
So,
ahead.
Chris and I've been following this past week, and we called it the Trump dump. All the people that have all of a sudden decided to become Trump's friends, and all the people that are donating to him now. And I want to read you something just a little bit. And this is off a news article. And it said the ultra rich have donated a record-shattering amount of funds to the 2025 Trump-Vance Presidential Inaugural Committee, like Apple, Chevron, Citigroup, Bank of America, Goldman Sachs, Google, Pfizer, Microsoft, pharmaceutical lobbies, Zuckerberg, Bezos. All these different people in record amount, they've stepped up. They have wanted to do meetings with Trump, and they've flown to see him. Is this a good or bad thing? I don't know. I pray that, like I read that scripture earlier about for wisdom, and so they don't become foolish. I pray that he has the wisdom to discern when people are coming to him with all this money and these ideas. So Bill Gates met with him, and he clearly does not like RFJK's against the vaccines, and he talked to Trump. And RFK Jr. is against some of the vaccines. Right or wrong, I don't know on some of this. I pray they have discernment. I don't know. It's a little bit, I don't know what you would say. It's just kind of bothering watching all the people inundate him, and you hope that he has the wisdom. I don't know what I would do if I was in that situation.
He's been in the situation before.
And I'm hoping that's given him the knowledge.
And I hope that, yeah, I mean, we just got to pray for her. Pray for God to.
But yeah, there's
to
a
show him
ton
what
of
to do.
people.
It seems like he will, and maybe he's just glad handing people like Bill Gates.
I don't know. He said,
Maybe
quote,
he's keeping him on. You know, keep your friends around and keep your enemies closer, that type of thing. Just there's so much about the people that are making the medicine and how desperate they are to distribute this. Billy G is making mosquitoes. He's got a mosquito factory,
yes.
and setting them loose.
Well, he did it with
to vaccinate
malaria.
people.
Now he's doing it with the mRNA.
They're trying to put it in the food. They're trying to do all these things. And it's just like radio silence. Like nobody's really, I've seen a few people stand up like, hey, we don't know how much cabbage do you need to eat? You know, I mean, what's enough, what's not enough? You know, we don't know anything about this. So it doesn't make a red flag, you know? When you think of all the reasons of the people that are in charge would want to do this, you know, and the evil spirit that Mao had, that Stalin had, is still alive and well. And remember that a healthy population through vaccines makes the population go down.
I want to read this real quick. Somebody said, we outside the U.S. can see things more clearly from crop duster. I'd like to know your kind of point of view on that. And somebody also said, Mutt said, just look at the person taking Yellen's place. Besant, I think it's how you say it, Besant from the World Economic Forum. So I'm questioning certain things. And someone even said they are buying influence with the Trump administration. So we're going to see scandal after scandal following this inauguration. And I was watching some of the hearings that are going on with the committees, the confirmation hearings, with the different people that he's appointing and different things like that. And it's, I think 2025 is going to be an extremely, extremely interesting year. So as I tell the kids whenever we're doing something, I'm like, hang on to your britches because it's about to get interesting.
I read and learned about, completely interrupting you. I'm sorry.
No, go for it. This is what this is about. It's
About-
live. It's Coffee with Chris and
That's
Stacey,
right.
but you missed your
I'm
coffee.
coffeeless. And my cup's right over there. I might get up and get it in just a second. It's just sparkling water. Nobody's talking about what I recently learned is about Elon Musk's mother being
A witch.
a witch, and the strange jewelry he wears around his neck. You won't have to Google too far to see it. I believe there's a lot more at play than what's going on. Somebody's given Elon an incredible ability to do anything. I mean, what he's doing with rockets and cars, Tesla cars is just one small, very small part of Tesla. Tesla is going to be making some really, really wild stuff in the future. And it just know, do yourself a favor and do your own research. Do your due diligence on who you look up to, trust, because they're men. They will let you down 100% of the time. We could talk about how many people's been pardoned, but that would be kind of boring. But I just thought it was interesting. You know, Biden's really gone off the rocker with these executive orders. In no time in history that I can remember or know of where we had a president that just went into hiding and did whatever he wanted to do.
Do you have that video on
Even though it's not
Twitter
him.
about Mike Johnson where he finally said, so Mike Johnson, who is a senator, or I think it's senator, yeah, from Louisiana, he actually just did an interview the other day, and he's known for a year that Biden has not been there. And why didn't people come out and say this? Because who has actually been making these decisions? Can you play that video? Because he's known this for a year.
And I say this without any personal animus at all. I mean, in some ways, I actually kind of feel sorry for Joe Biden. I mean, he's in the twilight years of his life. He is not, obviously, has not been in charge for some time. And I know this by personal observation, and now the whole world knows it. And it's been very, very concerning to me over the last, year and a half since I've had this
position. Can you tell us a story when you say personal observation? What kind of thing did you see?
It's public now because the Wall Street Journal got it and put it on the front page. But January a year ago, almost exactly a year ago, I had been asked. I became speaker in October 2023, and there were all sorts of big national security concerns and everything going on. And I started requesting a meeting with the president because I'm kind of old school. I'm a constitutional law guy. The Speaker of the House should be able to talk to the president, especially in times of great national interest and calamity. But they wouldn't let me meet with him, and his staff kept giving me excuses. This went on for like 8 or 9 weeks. I'm sorry, Mr. Speaker, he doesn't have time. What are you talking about? I'm second in line of the presidency. He has time. I need to talk to him. We had, I can't say the classified parts, but we had some big national concerns at the time that I was losing sleep over. Finally, I just went to the Hill press corps and I said, the president is not being allowed to meet with the speaker. There's a problem. So they started putting pressure on him. Long story short, they finally relented. They invited me to the White House. I show up and I realize it's actually an ambush because it's not just me and the president. It's also Kamala Harris, Chuck Schumer, Hakeem, the CIA director, everybody. And then, so I walked in the Oval and, I know what this is. They're going to hotbox the speaker on Ukraine funding. That's what it was. This is probably third week of January. We sit down, we're in the midst of it, and the whole conversation, and I'm going, we don't need to have this conversation. The president reaches over just like this. We're sitting right next to the fireplace in the Oval, and he grabs my arm and he says, the speaker and I just need a couple minutes together. Will y'all just leave us alone? And I looked up on the faces of some of the staff standing around the wall, and they're like, oh, no, he did it. So he called it. He's the commander-in-chief. So everybody leaves, and he and I are standing awkwardly in the middle of the Oval Office right over the rug by that coffee table. And I said, Mr. President, thanks for the moments. This is very important. I got some big national security things I need to talk to you about that I've heard and I think you know, and what do we do? But first, real quickly, Mr. President, can I ask you a question? I cannot answer this from my constituents in Louisiana. Sir, why did you pause LNG exports to Europe? I don't understand, liquefied natural gas is in great demand by our allies. Why would you do that? Because you understand, we just talked about Ukraine. You understand you're fueling Vladimir Putin's war machine because they got to get their gas from him, And he looks at me, stunned with this, and he said, I didn't do that. And I said, Mr. President, yes, you did. It was an executive order 3 weeks ago. And he goes, no, I didn't do that. And he's arguing with me. I said, Mr. President, respectfully, could I go out here and ask your secretary to print it out? We'll read it together. You definitely did that. And he goes, oh, you talk about natural gas. Yes, sir. He said, no, you misunderstand. He said, what I did is I signed this thing we're gonna conduct a study on the effects of LNG. I said, no, you're not, sir. You paused it. I know. I have the terminal, the export terminals in my state. I talked to those people this morning. This is doing massive damage to our economy, national security. It occurred to me, Barry, he was not lying to me. He genuinely did not know what he had signed. And I walked out of that meeting with fear and loathing because I thought, we're in serious trouble. Who is running the country? Like, I don't know who put the paper in front of him, but he didn't know.
Yep. That's what we've been dealing with.
Howdy, Chuck.
So I was talking to Chris and I was like, how in the world, if these people have known this for this long, when you guys saw the Carter funeral the other day, Jimmy Carter when he passed, and the whole debacle there where, let's see, Jill came in and she sat like this with Harris, wouldn't speak, and they wouldn't hardly shake hands with certain people. If they've known this for this long, he sat there, what Biden did, he sat down real slowly and he touched his head. Like, I mean, who has been running the country? We've been saying this for however long, but it's obvious now, and it's pretty scary the fact he didn't even know what he signed.
Oh, Biden, maybe. It doesn't really matter. You know, it's not him. We know that for certain, right?
Get off the
We can
thing,
all
baby.
agree on that Biden can't find his way off stage. A lot of people feel sorry for him. I don't. You know, I couldn't.
I
He's
actually,
a 50-year politician.
he is.
Can you imagine how dirty, absolutely filthy he is? Would you dogs go somewhere else?
I know I need to put them inside. We got 2 big dogs in the shop with us right now.
About to knock the camera over.
But so interesting enough. So let's move on a little bit. So we've got what's happening with Trump. We got the inauguration that's coming up, which if you guys have seen that they're moving it inside, which we almost flew to the inauguration. We were this close the other night because I've actually been to inauguration before. I've been to the Bush one. I actually went to the inaugural ball. I've done it. It's actually a really cool experience. Hi, Jose. You need us?
No, go ahead.
Okay. So
We've
anyway,
got some painting to do before it
yes,
gets to
I
18
know.
degrees.
We got to do that really
So-
quick. So anyway, I've been to the inaugural ball. I've been may want to move Mike up. Your arms keep rubbing it. Mine or his, M and J. So I've been to the inaugural ball. It's really cool. So we actually were almost going to get ready to go, which I'm glad we didn't now because it's going to be like 25 degrees, and they're moving it inside, and they're not really stating why. Oh, my mic, Stacy, keeps rubbing it. This one.
Keep going.
So I'm curious to know why they're moving it inside. I don't just believe that it's cold weather because when I was there, it was freezing cold and we were all bundled up and huddled outside. And this was actually after 9/11 too, and we had to go through all kinds of security and everything. So there's a reason why they're moving it inside, and I'm glad maybe they are hopefully for its safety that it'll work out for him. And anyway, so I'm watching that. He has already come out and said that he is going to do so many executive orders on day one, including because of threats. That's what I'm kind of wondering. I'm thinking that there's some threats that we don't know about. So hopefully they're taking them serious. I heard that he also has created or hired his own personal security system or security detail also. I don't know if that's true, but that's what I keep hearing. And they're saying that they're going to start doing an immigration raid on Tuesday. So you got Monday, the inauguration, which is also a holiday, which banks are closed, and you've got these threats. He's being sworn in, and then you've got supposedly an immigration raid that has already started and going to start full-fledged on Tuesday. I think that's creating a lot of tension, maybe you could say also.
The inauguration, they're saying because of weather, but they've had a lot of threats. They're terrified of drones.
I think it's more than just the weather.
My nephew, 100%. My nephew is in the Air Force, and he said that's the main concern. That's what they're most worried about is drones. Just imagine how cheap China can build a drone that will carry a little something, a little piece of C4, whatever, and how they could issue them by the thousands. I've watched several videos on it, and it is truly terrifying. But they're worried about that, and that could be something that could start World War III overnight. And they wouldn't know how it got there or who did it, but they could blame whoever they wanted to. And then here we're off. You know, we're so close, it's ridiculous.
Well, speaking of that kind of stuff, so interestingly enough also, Russia and Iran, so this 3 days now before the Trump inauguration, they signed a 20-year defense energy pact. 3 days before the inauguration, Russia and Iran. And they said it's going to make them stronger, and they're saying how it's bringing the regions together and all this kind of stuff. Putin's come out and said that it's going to make them stronger, it's a good deal. And then, on top of that, you've got Britain and Ukraine signed a 100-year alliance. This is all right before the inauguration. And I don't find that as a coincidence at all. And I watched an interesting video on Tucker Carlson the other day with Oliver Stone and Peter, I forget his last name, and they were talking about our relationship with Russia and why are we even going after them. And it was, I need to post that on Twitter, by the way. If you guys don't follow us on Twitter, you need to follow us on Twitter. I said, I hope VP Vance stays loyal and has Trump backs and like Pence. Yes, I agree with you. I also heard that Pence is actually going to show up to the inauguration, unlike Bush, the Clintons, Obama. I think they're not going to show up to the inauguration, but Pence actually said I think he was going to show up. He ruined his chances, in my opinion, of ever making it big in the political career after what he did, but that's just me.
Yeah, Raw Food Rider said, I hope VP Vance stays loyal.
I said that,
and
yeah,
has
just
Trump back. That's Pence. Man, he was a real letdown, wasn't he? It
So
seemed
he-
like it. I can't. I don't understand what happened there. The swamp's just really, really deep.
It is. It's so deep that some days I don't even think we really kind of have a grasp of what actually goes on behind the scenes.
For sure. We don't have a clue.
Yep. But I also watched that Pete guy with the, he's going to be for the Secretary of Defense. I believe that's correct. If I screw terminology up, just correct me in here, because I watch so many things a lot of times. Big Mike Obama not coming? Yeah, apparently not. She didn't even come to the Carter
Big
funeral,
Mike.
which I thought was a little bit interesting because all the other wives did, which, by the way, Pence's wife completely snubbed Trump. Did you see that? She wouldn't even acknowledge them. That funeral was watching the dynamics when they all had to sit together. I don't know if you guys watched it, but I watched it on several different videos. But I was watching Pete, and he was talking about the woke generals and how that we need less generals. And hey, free baby.
This is an expensive dog, man. This dog's eaten $3,000 worth of stuff since we've had it.
She's precious.
Champion Lab, and it acts like one. Okay, get it down.
It's our nephew's dog that we've adopted. She is precious, precious. She wakes me up every morning, so it's so cute. It's a complete side note, but I have my own personal alarm clock every morning. She knows not to get in the bed, but she sticks her face right in my face and just stares at me about 6:45 every morning until I wake up. But anyway, he's talking about woke generals that he wants to get rid of. And he says that we need less generals and more on the ground. And he's came across in his, I don't know if he's legit or not. You want to believe what they say when they're interviewing him, but he came across really good in the confirmation hearing. So I watched that. I don't know if you guys watched also the one, there's several of them that I've been watching, but he's.
You notice the people that aren't going woke anymore? It's like, but
We're
wait,
pulling
that's
out
not
of that.
cool anymore? Oh, well, okay, then we're back.
Yeah.
We'll do whatever's popular.
Yep.
You know, do anything for money.
From the
Watch
woke-
out for those people. People that will do anything for money.
In the climate
some
change,
of
they're
them.
pulling out.
Just be friends with them. Just watch them. Their moral compass is heavy weighted on the money side. And a lot of people is. I got another saying. I say all the time. Friends and family get really funny when it comes to money.
It does.
Got a friend you don't care for, loan him $50. You'll never see him again. And you won't have to bother him. And then he won't have the chance to ask you for money. So, it's the truth.
It's true. It's true.
And
Somebody, go ahead.
Don't loan family money either. If you can help it.
Said, I did see Trump and Obama sharing a laugh. That was kind of, everybody's been talking about that. I was trying to read their lips to see what
Sharing
they
a
were saying.
laugh.
So at the Carter funeral, that was a very iconic moment, in my opinion, because you had all these presidents, and you could see all the tension, and then you had Jill didn't want to talk to Kamala Harris, or Camel Toe Harris as I call her, and it was, and then Trump and Obama decided to have a conversation. It was, and then you could see Harris turn around and see them talking and laughing, and she got really funny about that. But
Speaking about Big Mike, a guy came in and he needed a slide hammer. And so I had one on the shelf, and I said, well, I'll just take this one. Well, he brought it back and said it wasn't big enough. So I beefed it up like the biggest, baddest slide hammer I ever seen. And when he came back, I had welded on it, Big Mike. That was it's a big hammer. I'm just saying, there's something really, really strange going on there. And it's just like, these tricks are so big and so vile, it's like people just gloss over it. They miss it. Well, who called him out? Joan Rivers, right before she died.
she
Isn't that
did.
crazy?
She did. She said
was
we
like, matter of
already have
fact.
them in the White House.
Yeah, we already have those kind of people. She's a man. Oh,
Some-
no. No,
She
she's
did.
dead.
Pete, they just said Pete's the real guy. You know, I hope he is. I really enjoyed watching his comments back to the different people and the questions. There was actually a few of them that I've enjoyed watching, and I hope they're genuine. I hope they have the wisdom. I pray that they do, because let me tell you, we need this. And to be honest with you, I was talking to someone that called in the other day, and I said, I don't even know in 4 years if they can fix everything that's happened over the last 4 years or so, how much damage has been done. But anyway,
It's baked in.
hey, by the way, if you guys don't follow Charlie Kirk on Twitter, you guys need to follow him. I truly believe he is the one that swayed the younger generation to vote for Trump. His discussions and debates, he is dead on, and he is great.
He's sharp.
He is super sharp. And he didn't graduate. I don't even know if he graduated from college. He didn't go to college, and I think he graduated from high school, maybe. But he'll
Just
even
because
tell
you
you.
didn't go to an indoctrination camp doesn't mean you
He said,
can't be
I don't have a
smart
college
laws.
degree. He'll tell you that, but he is brilliant on his debates. Not on Twitter, you mean, since I voted for him the first time. Anyway, trying to catch up with George was a smart dude. I hope he got saved before he passed.
They're talking about George Carlin.
Oh, okay.
It's a big club and we ain't in it.
All right, so let's go on.
Or
Let's
you
talk.
ain't in it. None of us are in it. It is a
wouldn't-
big club, and it's such a letdown, you know. When I did a story about this the other day, and it was about the inflation that's baked in, 100% chance there's more coming. And a lot of people think, well, it's okay because my pay is just going to, if it doubles and everybody else's doubles, then inflation doesn't really hurt. The problem is, if yours doubles and everybody else's triples, then you're automatically poorer. So just look forward to that. What are the prices for precious metals?
We actually asked, we said, is poorer a right word? And
Yeah.
actually someone did put in the comments later, they're like, yep, that's good. And they said, thank you for checking your grammar.
For richer or poorer? Poorer.
Poor, yeah,
Right?
yeah. But sometimes our grammar, I struggle with
Yeah,
it.
if you're here for the Queen's English, I'm sorry.
Yeah. So silver today is, let's talk about that real quick. And then I want to go on to TikTok and I want to remind people about IRS scams too.
And
All
the
right.
Trump coin that came out yesterday, it's
Oh,
up
yeah.
16,000%.
Let's talk about that first. So I think this year is going to be a different year for crypto because he is
It didn't come out, sorry, it didn't come out yesterday. It came out
A couple days ago.
A few days ago, but in 12 hours it jumped 15,000%.
Yeah.
Trading roughly at $30. That is nuts.
Well, so Crypto Joe, who I love watching also, he's great on Twitter. You need to follow him too. He's so good at following charts. I watch him. He said, well, I thought Bitcoin would take a little bit of a run, but looks like we've got the Trump coin taking a little bit of a run. And by the way, XRP is about to pass Ethereum. I think this year is going to be an interesting year for crypto. I'm not a crypto fan. You guys all know this if you followed us at all. But Trump is gotten on the crypto wagon a
Oh
little
yeah,
bit.
for sure.
And I think it has to do with his son, Barron. His son, is also the one that pushed him to go to social media. Go ahead.
The dogs are about to run over the counter. Go, get.
Okay,
Get.
let me go put them inside.
No, you're good. They're good.
Okay.
They're smart. You can tell them what to do, and they'll usually listen.
Well, we let them outside to
Sit.
run and play with us.
Sit.
But I think how high can XRP go? I don't know. Crypto is a bridge to CBDC. So, and a lot of
Absolutely,
people think that
100%.
XRP is going to be possibly government owned at some point. There's a lot of government behind XRP. Ex-government people, there's a push for XRP for some reason.
I did a lot of research on XRP, and I was really into it back 2017, 2018, 2019. I saw a really poorly made video. It was just a guy standing in a crowd at some type of banking meeting in India, and this Indian banker was saying, if you have XRP, you should feel lucky because it's not for you, it's actually for the banks. I don't know. There's people, and I've talked about it in my earlier videos. You know, it was a kind of an asymmetric bet that put a little in and hope. But nothing's what it seems, you know, and they're going to pump it to the moon, and usually they rip the rug out from under everybody. That's just the way it goes. So as it's going up, I want to encourage people to think about selling. You only get to keep the money if you hit the sell button.
Yeah, that's true. And that's a hard thing to do some days.
It's so hard.
Yeah,
so
we've
hard.
talked about that.
100%.
Yeah.
But the Trump meme coin is last Friday. 12 hours later, 16,000%. That would have been a good rip. After nearly a year of speculation, blah, 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 it looks like Trump's being smart. He's getting on the crypto wagon, and why wouldn't he, you know?
I got to give him credit, though, because it's hard to open your mind sometimes to think outside the box. This guy is amazing at it. I'm not. I am more like rules, regulations, like I do our details of our finances, I do this, like, and he has to push me outside my comfort zone so many times in the last 18,
She's
19
good at
years.
shooting holes. You got a good plan, you got a big idea, run it past Stacy. She'll boom. No, that crashed hard. Boom. But it's good. People like me that have like a 30,000 foot view need somebody to talk about all the reasons why it won't work. So you're 50-50. You're a great helpmate.
Yeah, but you are too, though, because he makes me think outside the box. Like, I never would have thought about crypto, but I have to give Trump credit for that because he, not only that, but at his age, he went way beyond. He did crypto. He reached out to Elon Musk, which is a whole nother thing. I know, hush, Rusty. And then he's, not only that, he got on social media. He did all this stuff that you wouldn't think a 78-year-old guy would do. And I got to commend him for that because he's willing to think beyond.
I don't think you had to think about it very hard.
He's good at that, though.
Hey,
You're
let's do
good
a
at
Trump
that.
coin, and it'll go up, and you'll make millions of dollars, and you'll own a lot of them.
Yeah.
It was probably like, let me think about that. Okay, yeah, roll out the Trump coin. He's probably been sitting on it for a while.
I
Probably
don't know.
waiting. Just waiting. Well, let's do it at inauguration. Boom.
Yeah.
It's just wild, you know. It's a big club. Why didn't we know about it?
Lydia
Why didn't
said,
nobody give me APB on that one?
Lydia said, okay, now my dogs are barking. Yeah, I bet they heard them. We'll put them up next time. They're running around. All right, so, and now I want to talk about TikTok a little bit. Oh, and the gold and silver prices.
That's another thing. You remember Trump coming out saying they don't need to mess with TikTok? Remember that?
Well, first he was going to
I
ban
did a
it.
video about it. I got a lot of
And
heat
then
over
he
it.
was for it. Now they're going to ban it. And there's about 170 million users in the United States. They're crying on TikTok saying, this is my last TikTok video because they're about to be banned and taken away.
It's a Chinese data mining app. It knows your keystrokes. When you sign up for the app and you said okay to whatever the 100-page thing asked, you know, you're supposed to read. What is it called?
Agreement, privacy agreement, what do you
Yeah,
call it?
whatever that is, privacy policy and all that stuff. In there, they record your keystrokes. That means they know what you're typing,
Oh, they do that on all of it. Google does too,
and
probably.
they send it straight to the CCP.
That's
The
true.
Chinese Communist Party gets a copy of your keystrokes. It's just too much. It's too much, and that should have been.
Somebody said, you're the balloon and she's the string. That's a funny analogy. I've never heard of that one. But
Better than an anchor.
yeah.
How is an anchor?
I asked someone the other day, I said, what's some advice you could give us for our videos? Like, how could you, they said I needed to punch him more. But speaking of TikTok, Kevin O'Leary, interestingly enough, has said that he would like to buy the United States portion of TikTok because they're trying to remove the United States portion away from China, the China portion. From what I understand, I don't know all the details, but Kevin O'Leary is interested in buying it, which that was interesting because he's on that Shark Tank, isn't he? think Kevin O'Leary's on that Shark Tank.
Yeah, he was. I'm not sure
If he's still there now.
If he is anymore. Is he for Bitcoin
Hey, you guys,
now? Because he
chill.
wasn't before. He called it blood coin. It's really funny to watch these rich people.
Switch.
It's funny to watch them because Kevin O'Leary didn't have a bunch of Bitcoin, so he thought, well, it's blood coin, and we don't want that anyway. I like these other coins over here. It's like, wow. Several YouTubers are touting the one that they have, you know.
They are.
Well, they got 1 million of these, so this one's it.
Yeah.
You know, it's just funny.
And a lot of them too, they get sponsored to pay for some of this stuff, which
Oh yeah.
we're not sponsored by. We've actually gotten rid of all that, just so you know. We haven't been sponsored in probably what, year and a half. We stopped all
If you
that.
ever see me doing a gold miner video, I'll be at the mine mining it with a shovel, because it'll be Taylor Welding mine. Can't trust them. Can't trust them. It's just a sad fact.
All right, silver, gold, and prices, and I want to talk about a little bit of a special, and then I want to hit on some IRA scams just real quick. Silver's $30.49. It's been holding about steady. When Trump did get elected, it seemed to dip just a little bit, and then it's come back up. Gold is $2,709.40. We have a special right now for junk silver, which is $1.69 over.
Wow.
But really, because we do it times 0.715 because it's only 90% silver, you only are paying $1.21. Matter of fact, I've got
How
about
much was that during COVID? How much was the junk silver? This is like an ammo, how I said it, freedom seeds and stuff like that.
it was around $5 to $7, but previously before that it was like $14, $12.
When things get weird and bad, people run to junk silver.
They
Still
do.
Currency and I'm sorry.
No, you're good. No, so I've got about three to five of you guys I need to call back that you guys have texted me or called me. I'll get back with you this afternoon. For junk silver, you've been sending me text messages.
And
Go ahead.
if you don't, or you're not into buying right now, you're just thinking about it, get the price list and double check it. There's so many scams in the precious metal space. There's so many. And if you have the price list, Stacy's price list, it's one email every week.
I don't spam
We're not
you.
going to load you up, but you'll have the updated price list all the time, and you can shop around with it.
Yeah.
So you can. What?
Yeah, so, and I don't sell your email. It's not a third party that does it. It's a very simple email. It's basic. It's nothing fancy, but it has the price list, and it'll also maybe have a video attached to it of something that we've recently discussed or any kind of information that I've found that can be pertinent to gold and silver. And like I've told people so many times, you don't have to buy from me, but you need to know the prices. There's so many scams out there. I just had someone call me, and they were sold a specialty coin again from a faith-based company. And unfortunately, I'm doing my best to get them the best price I can, but they're probably going to lose a little bit of money. And I hate that. I hate it. That is my goal for you, is that you get the best price, you know what you're getting, you know what you have to do if you're going to sell it back. That is and you understand, once you know the prices, it's up to you to make that decision. But if you're just sold something because it's high pressured, that's another thing. If you're ever high pressured, he just had someone call him for a website.
High pressure.
High pressure. Oh, you got to do it now.
Run.
We're going to give you the free. We'll create you a website for free. Oh, but by the way, it's $300 a month after that.
Yeah. It's like, what
Dude,
kind,
we're like,
what kind of
"Whoa."
marketing are you going to do? But here's the thing. Never do anything right now because the deal's so good and it's going to go away in just a minute. Then tomorrow's not here right now. You got to do it right now. And these are all the reasons why. And if you don't do it, just say, no, I don't do anything right now. I'll think about it, and you can contact me later, or I'll contact you, and they are not going to want to hear that. They're going to hear everything around how you should do it, and instead of putting it off, you should do it now because rates are good, whatever it is. Run. Forget about it. It's a scam. 100% of the time in my life, it's been rubbish. So I just don't do anything high pressure right now. It just doesn't work.
Yeah, so if you're interested in the price list, you can text me 318-564-5823. I'll be happy to send it to you once a week, and that's it. I won't bother you. Don't call you. And even if you call me, I'm not going to high pressure you into anything. But anyway, so I think that's about all that I had on my list. That was enough. You guys, this week, hang on to your britches, because I think it's going to be a very interesting week. You've got the inauguration. You've got all these executive orders he's going to do. You've got a deportation of immigration starting on Tuesday. They're already starting it. They're already going door to door. I saw videos the other day. You've got the Tik Tok thing. You've got the crypto thing. You've got Yellen, who said that we're going to hit the debt ceiling on Tuesday. You've got all these confirmations going on. You've got all these people that are leaving certain offices. So there's going to be, kind of a limbo area. So you guys hit that like button if you like this kind of stuff, and we're going to keep bringing it to you and getting in the comments with you guys. And tell us what you guys think. You want to read some of the comments? Tell us what you guys think.
Making a blanket statement about liberals also seems like baiting. I'm not a liberal, but do have friends and family. Just saying. Are you talking to somebody else or me? 'Cause I don't know a blanket statement.
I missed that one. So I guess what he means. Well, I was making a joke because typically it seems to be in our society today, and tell me if I'm wrong on this, it seems to be really hard for liberals, and say we're conservatives or we're independents or whatever you want to call us. I would say we're more independents that seem to kind of can have a conversation without it getting heated.
Yeah, that's that.
And
I like
find,
talking. I like talking to anybody. Look, if two friends agree all the time, what good is that? You need somebody to kind of to talk you through the reasons why they do what they do. The problem is most progressives, most liberal, left-wing leaning people. They don't want that. They want you to do what they want, and if you don't, they're going to scream and holler and yell. And that's what I've been confronted with. If you get on, unless the other day your friend was willing to agree to disagree, but a great conversation, and that was it. It was great. I was actually, when I was talking about liberals, that's what I was saying. There's some people out there that are good with how it used to be. You could actually talk about politics at the dinner table, but it's getting worse. They're not willing to take anything other than what they think, and even if they can't back it up. I think that's what it is. When they can't, either side, whatever they can't back up or they don't have a good reason for it, they lose it. They have a fit of rage. Check that out in the Bible. Start learning about that.
So a couple comments. I love reading your comments. It says, me and my wife disagree all the time, and I tell her she's 100% correct. What did you say one time? I learned long time to say, yes, dear. Or what did you say?
Oh, man. I don't know.
You
thought of something I shouldn't say, though.
Somebody said, oh, Wade Adams from Utah. Oh, man, I haven't talked to you in a while. I hope you're still doing good. I know you went through a lot with your health and all that kind of stuff. I think about you guys every so often that I talk about you guys. And Sandy, and there's a lot of people I talked about, and Mary, all you guys with your health issues. But anyway, I love reading your comments. I love talking to you guys when I do get a chance. Sometimes I don't always get to talk a whole lot. Steve and Linda, I always love talking to you guys, which, by the way, I owe you a phone call today. I will be calling you. I got your text. Trump coin, 100 to 1 overnight. And
101, wow. This is, the title of this video was The Trump Dump is Starting. And what that is the central bankers are retiring.
They are.
All the immigration, the illegal problem that wasn't Mexicans, that was from China, Russia, 10,000 Chinese.
We don't even know how many, yeah.
That's what they apprehended.
Right.
All that's in. That's baked in the cake. We're still seeing mostly petty crimes. We're starting to see more rapes and killings. I do believe there are cells being set up, and George Soros type, they got funded. It takes 30 to 40,000 to get somebody from China here. Who's funding that? You think the Chinese can do that? The poor Chinese,
Oh, it's definitely set up.
They make enough for a few grains of rice, and so I feel like we're being set up. We've already been set up, and now they're setting up Trump. Kamala Harris's speech was just, I believe we have a wonderful democracy, and I'm just glad of that, and and it's like,
I don't even know if she knows what she's talking about. I'm gonna be honest with you, as a woman to woman, I listened to her speak, and it sounds like she's either drunk or strung out on pills, and that is a bad thing to say. I know,
Another
but
career politician.
you listen to her speak. Hi, from Ian from London. I think is how you say your name. Ah, thanks, sir.
London, cool.
Yeah. So I don't even know, to be honest with you, what to even think about her. I want to support women. Like I'm 50-50 with Chris, and I want to support women, and I believe in women. But as I was listening to Pete, even he made a comment, the guy that they're doing the confirmation about women being in militaries, and I even have. It's probably not correct, or people don't want to hear it, but I think there's some places that women shouldn't be in military, and I agree with what he said on that. And there's some I know. Chris said, "What do you say? I know my lane, and I try to stay in it." Is that what you say? That you have a phrase?
I'll say a lot of things, but
You
know,
do say a lot of.
it's important. I don't understand that. I don't understand people that a woman that says she can do anything a man can do. It's just not true.
Well, it's not politically correct to say that.
Yeah, but I mean,
but I believe it.
Nothing. Women can do things that men can't do.
That's correct.
I mean, we have our place. I don't get that. It's got to be a demonic thing. And the whole women's lib power movement thing, it really took away a lot, I believe. Nothing bad against women or anything, or if you're into that, fine. But
no, we've had this conversation, and we can go on forever on this, but that's the
Yeah,
truth. Women has their place. I have my place. I know my place. I know my strong areas, and there's places that I'm not strong, and that's where he is strong, and it works that way, in my opinion. But that's
society's fallen. You know, it's different now. It's not what God had in mind.
she's trying to crawl on our
But that
lap.
started with Cain and Abel. I learned about Cain and Abel the other night, and God didn't like his offering, and it wasn't that he didn't like his offering. He didn't like what was in his heart. Maybe he didn't bring his best. It wasn't real clear on why, but it made him mad. Made him mad enough to kill his brother. And we're talking about the direct descendants of Adam and Eve. Like, it started a long time ago, and we're still going. It's amazing. Seems like it should be really close to the end, and I'm not going to go too far into this subject, but things are setting up kind of like I would think. Right here towards the end, I look for a major pullback in the economy. Not that doesn't have so much to do with Cain and Abel and all that, but it's part of it. What's coming now looks really frothy to me. It looks really toppy, and everything's just so great. And then they do the dump. That's a little bad news there, but I do believe it. It's not over. Still prep. Still think about what you need. Still think about what you're going to need. Live for 2 or 3 weeks, or get right with everything. The people you've done wrong. That's been on me a little bit too. Anybody that I've done wrong, and it seems like you need to reach out and make those things right. And that's one of those things, the tension, pay attention to the tension. That's something's guiding you to do the right thing. Just listen to it. Don't add to the saddest chapter of your life. And nobody can lie to me like I can. Remember that, because that's the truth.
Yep.
I can feed myself a good one.
Yep.
Guys, have an awesome weekend. Thank you for being here. We'll see you in the next one. Later.